After a 1 week hiatus and a little bit of time to recuperate, we're going to come back to a racetrack that is no longer commissioned. It's Auto Club Speedway live this week for race number 6. The Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series is live in California. It's the BK Designs 200 here at Auto Club Speedway, this 2-mile oval. Sister track to Michigan International. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Alex Gagnon, with our camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. Alex, this racetrack, it's fast, it's got progressive banking, it's wide. It had all the recipe for having great racing. I'm not sure why it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, while there's probably several reasons that we'll save for another point in time, it is truly a bummer that they finally built the car that would put on entertaining racing at this track, and then a year later got rid of the track. We did not see a lot of the next gen at Auto Club, but the couple races that we did get were absolutely fantastic, and that has translated to iRacing as well. This is a nice wide track, a lot of different lanes you can run. Really got to be careful about not burning up your stuff too fast. This is truly a fun place to race in these next gen cars, and that's really saying something, because some of these tracks in the next gen can be rather frustrating compared to some of the older gens, but this one in particular is a real treat, and I think we're in for a fun show tonight.
Couldn't agree more. Going to be 100 laps here this evening, 55 miles per hour on the pit road speed limit. Pretty easy pit road to get on and off of. 5 tire sets over the wall here today, with the stage at lap 28. 2 green-white checkers, as always, 50% fuel in the iRacing Fix setup. But now it's time to take you down to the racetrack and get that pole award up on your screen. Starting on the top spot, it will be Jeremy Burns with the KLD pole award. And I love that overlays do that. They did it to me 2 weeks ago. Everybody at ATVO, get it together. Here we go for the rest of your grid. Starting on the front row will be Tyler Harrison. And man, these things need an overhaul. Something is wrong with them. They did that last week too. So 39.571 as we move along to Carter Lenz and Parker Johnston in row number 2. Caleb Gilbert and Grant Thorpe in the 3rd row, and then you have Dakota Floyd with Justin Ritchie in the 55. Top 10 with Brandon Richardson and Rob Rader.
Welcome back to row number 6. It'll be Michael Bennett and Trevor Earhart, Grant Turner, Christopher Schaefer rolling off 13th and 14th with identical times on the board. Matt Robinson, Dylan Picklesheimer make up row number 8, just ahead of Kyle Diaz and Trevor Keith, with Daniel Holloway and Nick Alves in the top 20 here to start tonight.
21st spot going to Alex Forget Berube. Brandon Pamitat will start 22nd. Ryan Munoz is going to start in 23rd. Then you have Kevin Orlando Jr., Jeremiah Nelson, and Kyle Stewart. You're back to 34th position as we get set to go green. The rest of your grid up on the screen with 2 more rows. But here we go with Jeremy Burns and Tyler Harrison. They're going to lead us into turn 1. Green flag is out at Auto Club. Lap number 1 going to go to the 9 of Jeremy Burns from the pole. The front row stays the same. Parker Johnson up a spot. Grant Thorpe up 2 into the top 5.
Yeah, things really fanning out here. You can see how many different lanes on the racetrack you can use. They were 3 wide there for second. Harrison's holding on to the spot for now. Johnston slides in front of Ritchie. They are 3 wide further back. Picklesheimer in the middle of it right now as they go into turn 3.
Also have I believe that's the 23, 87 actually, in the middle there. He'll slide right up in front of the 41. Almost some contact with Trevor Earhart and Brandon Pamitat. Not a lot of room there coming off of 4.
No, it's really deceptive. This is a wide racetrack, but the line for coming off of turn 4 really all kind of centers off just to the end of the wall. So even though you're running the bottom or the top, it all kind of spits out in the same place. So when you're running 2, 3 wide, going through 3 and 4, sometimes things can get really dicey as you all start trying to go through the same lane as there's contact there. Thorpe and was making contact, I think, with Raider to the inside. That was a close call there for the 53 and the 77, but we're pointed all the right direction and pressing forward here.
Thorpe just ran out of racetrack, had Picklesheimer to the outside. Grant Thorpe was up at the top 5, was running up there for 3rd position, so I'm not quite sure what happened to him to get him back this far. Let's take it back. Watch right here, coming out of turn 2, actually out of turn 4, gets a little tight, and I think that's where he started to bleed some ground. He had to lift out of the throttle to not get into Carter Lentz.
Yeah, and then everyone else just came roaring up the stretch. 4 wide, they went into 1. I mean, that's just a moment where you go, all right, matter of self-preservation. You don't have to, have to worry about, oh, yeah, he's down on the apron as well. That car not handling well here.
41 in the wall as well. Earhart got into the wall. 87 almost got into the side of him. From about 10th on back, the car sideways, and I think
that's
that
laughter.
was Thorpe's involved. The 12 cautions
boy.
out.
Big wreck going into turn 1. The 64 in there, the 12, Pennington getting a tow. Looks like Michael Call gets caught up in it. Man, that is the old Commodore 64 there has seen better days, as that is going to get towed back to pit road as well. Caution out for the first time tonight here on lap 5. It all came unglued right here in the middle of the field. Keep an eye here on the 64. And him and Diaz just run out of room there. Nowhere for Forget to go either.
And I'm not sure if Diaz comes up the racetrack. We'll watch this from another angle. 64 gets the run on the outside. There's not a lot of room there to begin with. Then it opens back up. Probably a good mile to drive the car through there. But it's the 77 coming up the racetrack, I think, that spooks to the 26 into the 64. And we have that chain reaction.
I believe so. And the other part of it is the entrance to turn 1. You could see it kind of angles off a little bit on that outside lane before you actually get into the corner. So Laughter wasn't running all the way up to the fence because he knew that wall was cutting in just in a moment's time, as the 26 just barely works his way up the racetrack. Not particularly egregious, but just 2 cars running out of space at the entrance of the corner. They both paid for it dearly.
We get the 1 to go signal this time by. Caution coming out right at lap number 5, and everybody just kidding about that 1 to go. It's going to be... Yeah, last week it felt like it was going way quicker, so...
Yeah, no, that is true. We were flying through them. But it looks like quite a few takers here for pit road. Looks like basically the entire field down here for an early stop. And I think that'll actually work out really well for him. You know, we were talking about the stage being at lap 28. And, you know, generally speaking, these 2-milers... little over 20 laps tends to be the range, say, you know, anywhere from 20 to 25. So this puts them right in the window to make it here to the end of the stage on fuel, which I'm sure is why we're seeing everyone make their stops now.
So not a lot of changes here. Everybody pretty much back to where they started in the top 5 with Burns, Harrison, Lenz, Johnston, and Gilbert. Dakota Floyd up 1 spot. Michael Bennett has gained 4. And the biggest mover so far in this race, Michael Reed, he's gained 15 positions, started back in 34th.
A good start to the day here for the 91. Made up some positions on the racetrack, avoided the incident, made up a few more spots on pit road. He is very quickly working his way toward the front. Obviously still has a ways to go, but he's already cut through about half the field here in the opening 6 or so laps, so far, so good for the 91 machine.
There might have been a botched qualifying run, or he knew maybe a penalty. I'm not sure if there was a penalty from 2 weeks ago when we raced at Las Vegas, but I know there was some calamity there with the 91. The car got destroyed. Another early exit. So I think right now we just keep the camera off of Reed until he's up there in the top 5.
Not gonna be jinxing nothing. That is for sure. Is now, I believe, we are at the one to go here. Lights are off on the pace car. Field getting double filed back up. Front row is no different than it was at the drop of the green flag here today. Jeremy Burns, Tyler Harrison still retain the top 2 spots here after the opening few laps. Carter Linsdow has worked his way up to that 3rd spot. Parker Johnston, Caleb Gilbert, Dakota Floyd now in the top 6. Bennett also up from 11th to 7th now.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something clever here before the broadcast. Maybe just, go live and then start streaming Dora the Explorer. But I didn't want to get a copyright strike. But I know it's April Fool's, and thought maybe that would be a good way. I don't know. I could play with people's minds. I quit at least 3 times at Vspeed, I think, on April Fool's.
See, what they're not ready for is when, we start breaking out into full song around the midway point of this race. That'll really get them.
Yeah. Go, Diego. That's the only other thing that I could think of. Pace car's off. Here we go with Jeremy Burns, Tyler Harrison on the front row. Just as we began this race, we're going to do it again. Lap number 9 underway.
Pretty good launch there from Burns. Got some separation. Lynn's going to try to follow him through to the inside of Harrison, as Dakota Floyd was looking maybe to the outside of Parker Johnston. Didn't really find any room there on the M62, but he's still going to run it up there in that 3rd lane.
Lewis runs out of racetrack, but still has a run off of 2. Going to give a little bump here to the 48, get him going.
Yeah, he had a lot of momentum. Was just trying to find a place to go with it. Ultimately connected with the back bumper there at the 48. Gives him a little bit of a push. And 3 cars came together as one there. Somehow we stay green. What a save there from Caleb Gilbert. But, man, I don't know what the 54 was looking at there. They were 3 wide, and he comes all the way up the racetrack.
Around.
Oh, Earhart, sideways. Oh, that's a hard hit. Brandon Richardson is around as well, but, man, Earhart took a shot there head first into the outside wall.
We could see it kind of happening, but that squeeze there off of turn 4. We'll go back and watch that with the 57. He gets this run down the backstretch, 48. Parker Johnston.
Yeah, it's him, Johnston, and Caleb Gilbert. And they go 3 wide, and it truly just goes from 3 wide to single wide in the blink of an eye. And all 3 cars are just on top of each other here. And that's where everything gets all stacked up. And that energy just keeps cycling back through the field and ultimately gets
they're
back
5
here.
wide almost.
Yeah, and everyone's going different speeds, and it's Earhart who ends up running out of room there with Richardson. And I think somehow those are the only 2 cars who got caught up in it.
We got to take it on board there with the NOS Energy 26.
On board here with Kyle Diaz. Caught a little bit further back in the field after being in that first incident. Clipped the wall a little bit, but he'll take that trade-off every time because Earhart was coming back up the track in a hurry.
And we were speaking about it earlier. It's now 19 positions gained. He got just ahead of this.
Not by much, but slipped on through.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
And that is also a big thank you to Sit Down Marks. Welcome to the Vspeed Fast Pass family. Glad to have you on board.
Enjoy those emotes. And on top of that, let me know when you get that shirt. It's been sent.
Well, speaking of sent, right now, someone who is sending it, that 9 qualified on the pole, He's looking really good. He's had a couple of really good restarts that's got him his track position. And the clean air right now working wonders for that car. No one's really been able to put up too much of a fight here. They'll use the draft to kind of get up to the back bumper, but then when they get to the corner, there's just not enough time to make a move, at least through the opening couple laps here.
Yeah, Burns has been fast almost every week. We saw him a little off there, and I think damage was part of the factor at Las Vegas. But you go to Phoenix, he had a great car, and they got caught up in some things there in the late race. Wasn't the best of finishes, but he's running second in points, the last that we had there on the numbers. And after 5 weeks, it's been kind of a bumpy start for a lot of these drivers that usually have success early on in the season. It's been kind of the opposite, though. If you look at guys like Dakota Floyd getting his first win, the confidence very high. He's been running in the top 5 almost every single week. Has a little bit of damage on the left side of that DuPont 57, but I think he's going to be okay as long as he can stick with the draft.
Yeah, I think so. And to your point of what you were just saying here about cars who have either really had a good couple of weeks or haven't, Carter Linz, is that a guy who's been snake bit so far to start the year or what?
Yeah.
For my money, I think he has probably been consistently the fastest car in the field over the opening 5-6 races here. And then just at the end of the race, something has happened. Whether it's getting caught back on a late caution or, catching the wall at the wrong time or just losing out in a late battle. It doesn't matter what it is. Every week it's something different. And at some point he's going to break through here. I have no doubt because he's got an unbelievable amount of speed this year. Just doesn't necessarily have the results to show for it yet.
On him back up here with Jeremy Burns and Tyler Harrison on the front row. Tyler Harrison has proven that he can get it done at this racetrack in previous races. So it's going to get interesting here. We got a lot of potential winners at Auto Club. Similar to Michigan, it's similar to these, these bigger racetracks, and that tends to be where the 45 gets the best of everyone. Be an interesting statistic. I don't know if you have those numbers. The spreadsheet gets kind of wiped out every year, so it's kind of hard to go back and look at the stats for the entirety of these 5 seasons. But the one consistent was Rob Rader. He's won all the championships. That's all we need to know.
I tell you what, that at least if you ask him, that's the most important bit. He has really been able to capitalize on those championship races at the end of the year. But yeah, whatever info you need, let me know. I can take a peek here to see if I can find out exactly what we're looking at here.
I would love to know Tyler Harrison's statistics, his average in a racetrack like Michigan, like Auto Club.
All right, well, we'll take a look here as the green's back in the air. I'll give you that information here when we have a moment on the racetrack. But right now, going into turn 1, side by side for a second, maybe make it 3 wide. Floyd trying the same move he tried on Johnston, and it might be working out for him. Let's see the run he gets here off of 2.
He had a big run, but had to kind of check down and change his line. 45 had the 66 to the inside. The side force got the car a little out of shape, but he's got a big run down the backstretch. Harrison going to look for the lead, and we got problems. No, we had contact in the back here. The 91 and the 55 side by side now. Richie going the wrong way.
Yeah, starting to slide back. He's got Robinson right in his tire tracks right now. Side by side with Picklesheimer as Richie's taking a peek to the inside here into 1. And they're starting to run out of room. It was tight there between the 33 and the 55 for a moment. Robinson had to get way down the racetrack in a hurry. And here comes Nelson trying to work the outside as well as everyone's fighting to get into that outside lane on the back straightaway.
And a little bit of an issue there with the connection for Jeremiah Nelson. You never want to see that, forcing his way through the middle. It's Kristen Schaefer. He's going to move up to 14th position, back to where he started. He'll get by Richie, stuck down there on the bottom. Has hemorrhaged about 9 positions on the way back.
Yeah, here we go, side by side, 3 wide, multiple places.
24.
Oh, Alves is around. Oh, and he's taking Picklesheimer down there with him. Same with Michael Reed. At least those two kept it off the wall. Not sure if Picklesheimer was able to. Oh, and Grant Turner, a late addition to this one as well.
Nick Alves' turn there off of turn 2. Saw it in a live shot. Let's go back on the replay and take a look at it. So Michael Reed all the way down here on the bottom and worked his way just outside the top 5. And comes up the racetrack, gets into the left rear of the 24. Ran out of real estate, and I believe that was the 33 of Picklesheimer involved in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a classic case of just wrong place, wrong time there for those guys. Particularly for Picklesheimer. He gets caught up there with Reed and Alves, and he's just along for the ride at that point. Looks like he was able to keep it off the wall as well. So honestly, damage, I think, should be pretty minimal for all of these guys, which I think is going to be the biggest thing. So that could have been significantly worse for those three. Going to lose a lot of track position because of it, but they're going to be very much still in the hunt here to get that repaired at the stage break. And Grant Turner, evasive maneuvers, ultimately spins him out as well, but no damage there.
And that puts us just over halfway to the stage break. We're going to see some takers down pit road. It looks like Rob Ray are going to fake. April Fools to pit lane. 57's got damage, going to come down and repair it. But Jeremy Burns will be your leader when we go back green. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on Vspeed. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series and the BK Designs 200. Back with more right after this.
Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Welcome back here to Auto Club Raceway, 2 Mile Oval in Montana, California. The once was the greatness that has been. And Jeremy Burns showing them how to get around this place. He's led every single lap so far that we've completed. He's about to get number 19 as we go back green for lap 20. Thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in, this is week number 6 here for Chapman Cup Series. And the new format and points following the 36 race season. Alex Gagnon and Bradley Cooper up here with Dougie Beard providing our custom cameras as we go back green into turn 1. The 45 of Harrison, you had those stats for us.
Yeah, took a little look here at the commercial break, and you know, probably shocking to nobody. Here's a shocker, 3 wide for the lead maybe, as Raider took a peek to the inside, trying to get that spot away from Jeremy Burns. No dice yet, but he's alongside Harrison. Harrison, though, not going to be an easy pass. We looked at the last 4 races at 2-mile tracks for the 45. Top 10 in 3 of them, and the one that he wasn't was a 12th place finish. So this guy, when it comes to these 2-milers, consistently up at the front of the field, just rattling off great points days. There is no surprise to see him up in the mix here, but you can also say that about all of the guys right now in the top 5. Burns has been phenomenal. Raider, obviously, the 5-time champ. Parker Johnston building off that great week he was putting together last week. He's got a good bit of speed as Raider dove it way in there. Harrison did not give him an easy release off the exit of turn 2. These guys are not giving each other any room out there for second place right now.
Yeah, you can kind of tell we've had, 3 cautions already to start this thing off. There's not a lot of room being given for the first half of this race as they're going side by side. 15 sideways.
Oh, hard hit. The yellow's out. And with it being lap 22, we are still outside the window of where the stage break would have been called. Would have needed to get to lap 24.
Cars bouncing off each other all over the place. The 3 is involved. The 77.
Yeah, Sam Taylor and Grant Thorpe get caught up in there. Not sure who it was who caught the wall hard there off of 4 as Keith was spinning to the inside. Someone really got a piece of the outside retaining wall.
Let's see if I can get a better angle at that. I want to say it was the 23 of Schaefer.
I want to say you're probably right. I saw the black, red, and white. My first thought was Carter Linz, but you can see Linz is just ahead of this group. Yeah, Christopher Schaefer just nowhere to go. He'd been running pretty well so far today as well.
Grant Thorpe gets a little sideways there. It just came down pit road to get some damage repaired, as did the 57 of Dakota Floyd. That puts Floyd all the way back in 26th position. Working this top 10 right now. There's a lot of drivers that started outside of it that have now gotten up here, like Rob Rader, like the 14 of Bennett. He's gained 7 positions to be up here. You've also got Michael Reed, who's gained 26, Brandon Pamitat has gained 13, and Jeremiah Nelson with 15 spots gained. So I think once you get up here, it gets a little tougher to make passes, and so drivers on the outside, stay to your outside. You come off the corner 3 wide as opposed to someone making a little mistake and you getting the spot.
The joy of Auto Club with the fact that, you know, you can run so many lanes here.
Yeah, this is the racetrack that I'd want to go to. Not a big fan of the next-gen car. It's unpredictable snappiness and kind of lies to you the whole time. Tells you that you're great and loves everything about you, then suddenly you get betrayed. It's kind of like an ex-girlfriend.
We're going to have to save that one for the clip show at the end of the year.
Yeah, don't save that one. Don't save that one.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of one-liners. Just don't save that one.
I tell you what, man, Rob Rader was really ambitious on that last restart. Nearly got up and around. Harrison was right in the mix there trying to take the lead in 1 and 2. He'll be restarting, I'm pretty sure, to the inside here of road number 2 with a prime opportunity to do that again, and only a couple lap sprint to the actual stage break here tonight. Got to imagine he's looking to just absolutely send it in there on this restart, knowing that you don't have to worry about saving tires for like a 2-lap run or whatever.
Yeah, if there's no reason to save tires, and there really hasn't been because this stage was so short, they came down on lap 5, topped off with fuel, and pretty much guaranteed that they were going to make it to the end. So you're pretty much making your bed and laying in it. I think you stay committed to getting to the lead. Anybody in this top 10 that's been chugging along here, it's got up there. We just talked about the positions gained. this is great for them because they don't have to worry about tires until that stage.
The lights are off on the pace car. We're reset here, 2x2. Front row is as it has been tonight. Burns and Harrison. Rader and Michael Bennett make up that second row. I'll tell you what, we haven't talked about him a ton tonight, but that 14 of Michael Bennett has done a really nice job here in the opening stage. He's up from 11th all the way to 4th now, and has put himself in prime position to get a nice handful of points out of the stage.
But everybody up here in this top 10 knows that it's in the closing lap. Stage at lap 28. If a yellow comes out at this point, that will do it for the stage and the points. So try to get as much as you can for the amount of time that you have. We're going to see something wild in the process. I guarantee it. Recharge Rally on the outside. Metroplex on the inside. We've seen this front row for every restart so far in this one. Can Rob Rader take a stab and take away the lead? Does Burns have enough to hold on to it? Is Harrison going to be on the outside? Lots of wheel spin, the 11 into the wall. It's Robinson.
That's not the way you want to start on the restart here. He's just trying to get that thing up the speed. As Forget's looking to the outside way further back. Rader has already slid up in front of Tyler Harrison here, taking away that second spot as they make their way off of turn 2 now.
Got him on the restart. Got the momentum into turn 1. Staking the draft. Dragon's Tail down the backstretch. Lynn to the inside of the 45. Also has Michael Reed on the high line. 3 wide into 3 and 4. Jeremiah Nelson with a black flag on that restart. Believe because of the 11 had to take evasive maneuver, and they'll most likely clear that, but it will be under review. Watching the 31, I'm not sure how much longer he can stay out here on the racetrack before iRacing will give him the boot. No battle for the lead. And it's 2.5 to go until the stage break.
Yeah, and Rader was right on the back bumper of Burns there going into 3. He's running a lane higher off the racetrack right now. Trying to get some clean air on the nose of that car as Forget's around off of turn 4. And that's going to bring out the stage caution here. I believe that's already the 5th incident of the night. Doesn't look like it with how things ended, but the first car sideways there was the 19 of Alex Forget. He got pinballed around a little bit, causing some other folks to go sideways, and
this is a back around the 10th position here. The check up. Gilbert gets into the inside, the 48, the 21. I think the 10 might have got a piece of it.
a lot of cars taking evasive maneuvers there.
More time from our blimp camera. Man, the 10. That was Kyle Stewart there that checked up and put himself in the right exact spot he needed to be in. Go on board with him real quick.
Take a look here, and you'll see just how quickly this develops, and somehow was able to squeeze on through. A little bit of left rear damage for the 10 with contact there with Forget, but that could have been a heck of a lot worse for him. So that is the stage. Jeremy Burns going to be credited with the stage win in pretty decisive fashion, dare I say, leading every lap of it. Big opportunity here to get some fresh tires and fuel going, and I'm looking out on the racetrack right now, and there's a couple of faces who have elected to stay out on the racetrack.
The Floyd, he had brought it down pit road and got 4 fresh tires about 5 laps ago. You also have Fred Pennington, Trevor Keith, and Sam Taylor those drivers. You had Trevor Keith there, got sideways compared to some of his damage. Sam Taylor had some a moment ago through the grass in the 3 cars. So the top 5 changes hands, and it's Dakota Floyd, your points leader, coming in to this week. I believe 57 will start up front for this next restart for stage number 2. We're going to begin that around lap 30. Take another quick break here on Vspeed. Chapman Cup Series action for week number 6. Coming back in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus, it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro. We're in your neighborhood.
Back here live at Auto Club for stage number 2 with Dakota Floyd, who just came down pit road a moment ago. He's got about 5 laps on the tires for this stint, but he's going to lead him into turn 1. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Alex Gagnon. Alex, we saw the same names up front. It was the 9 of Jeremy Burns getting the stage 1 win. He led every single lap, but now a toss-up, a little shake-up here for the top 5.
Yeah, with a few folks staying out, now we're getting some folks who are getting off cycle, mixing it up a little bit. Dakota Floyd out to the point here. You got Pennington just behind him. First car who's on fresh tires is Jeremy Burns, currently running in the 8th position, and him and Rob Rader caught up in a little bit of traffic right now, trying to work their way past Earhart and Orlando. Easier said than done as a big block all the way down to the apron. Rob Rader, though, gets onto the apron to try to clear the 27. Tell you what, Rob Rader has been really ambitious here on these restarts, trying to get as low as possible, trying to grab a couple spots. And for the most part, it's worked out for him. He just squeezed himself in there in front of the 9. I think that was about as much as you could clear yourself in front of another car as we're going to see here at Auto Club tonight, especially on a straightaway.
They're racing really hard. Look at the 27 there in the middle of all that.
Yeah, this is the hornet's nest right now. The last place you want to be is if you're Kevin Orlando Jr. caught in the middle of all of this. They've single filed out in front of him a little bit. But where he's at right now, there is cars to every direction. Front, behind, left, right, you name it. There's a car there right now. He's finally able to find a spot up by the wall. Settling in here behind the 81 of Munoz. Trying to get around Carter Linz using that draft, but the Linz machine going to stay firm on the inside. They battle it out here for the 10th position.
On board there with Kevin Orlando, and he's got 2 or 3 different marker tapes on the top of that wheel. Let's say that's the first time I think I've seen anybody actually wrap markers on their wheel.
Honestly, I'm here for it. You know, they say iRacing is one of the most realistic sims that you can find, and why not go the extra step by putting the markers on the wheel, knowing where you need to be setting it.
Gonna Gonna work the outside now. He hemorrhaged about 4 positions there, battling 2 or 3 wide at different times. But now you're starting to see those fresher tires. It'll take a few more laps here for it to level off. But these guys so much faster than the top 4 right now. And with that little bit of damage that was on the 15, wouldn't surprise me if it's still affecting him. The 57 in the same boat, but getting some laps led here. Lap 34, and now for Floyd, he has led 6.
Yeah, that fresh air doing wonders right now for the 57, helping him hold some track position. But tell you what, Pennington's been putting on a lot of pressure here. He has not let Dakota Floyd get away from him. Michael Call right in tow as well before you get back to Jeremy Burns in that 4th spot. First car on fresher tires. The fresh tires starting to do their thing, starting to work through the field, but laps are starting to tick away. And the folks who are getting a little off cycle, looks like that track position call may have worked out for at least the top 3 here.
Holding the gap right now, Michael Call. Got to talk to him last week in the 5 car in Victory Lane. And that was 2 weeks ago, I guess. I keep saying last week, but I keep forgetting we had a week off. I wasn't expecting that week off, but we had it there, and so still playing tricks on my mind. Pennington, battle for the lead on the outside.
Yeah, he got a great run out of turn 4, forced his way to the outside of Dakota Floyd, who tried to close off the spot, but Pennington was there. Now running to the high side again. He's going to need a big run here just to stay in front of the 9. Burns to the inside. He doesn't really have anyone there drafting with him, though. So he'll fall back to 3rd for now. Pennington's really getting the outside to work for him at the moment, as Burns takes a look down on the apron, trying to take away that 2nd spot.
He'll hold the 2nd position for the time being. Jeremy Burns showing speed down on the inside comparatively. Wasn't able to complete that pass. Now going to dive to the inside into 1 and 2. Looks like Burns going to try the outside. That might be a mistake for the 30.
Yeah, trying to hold on to that spot. No one's down there with him. Burns is going to clear on the outside. Rob Rader going to try to go with him. Working that middle lane right now. Side by side for 3rd as Earhart settles into the 4th spot. Floyd, a big move trying to break the draft here. Hold on to that top spot, but I mean, Burns is there at this point. He might try to make the move right here.
They'll try to make the move on the inside of 1 and 2. The 9 trying to get back to the point after winning the stage. He has the lead down the backstretch briefly. Floyd gets a good run off the corner, and they'll drag race to the entrance at 3.
Side by side they go in the middle of the corner. Floyd gets back to the throttle early, trying to keep alongside Burns. He's going to just for the moment. Will be credited with that lap led as well, as Burns gets right up there. Is a big move from Rader, going to go over under. Tries to get to the inside of the 9, tries to get to the inside of the 57.
How long can Dakota Floyd hold them off? You know he was up there conserving his tires for at least the first 10 laps of this run, and as soon as he saw Jeremy Burns, he went into defense mode and started to play kind of mind games. Yeah, you caught me, now get around me.
And, you know, I honestly thought the cars on fresher tires here, they were going to have an easier time than they are right now, passing some of these guys. The folks on only 5-lap older tires are doing a good job keeping them at bay. The Clean Air doing a lot of work right now, trying to help keep them behind him. Is Rader going to really dive it in there to the inside? He might come up to try to pass him here. He's not clear yet, though. And Floyd going to hold on to that spot for now. Rader tries to break away from the side draft, still working the inside of the 57. But Floyd, I tell you what, he is driving it in aggressive right now, trying to keep the 53 honest. But Rader slides up in front of him, and we've got a new leader here at Auto Club going on to lap 41.
It's an excellent drive, though, there from Dakota Floyd, especially with the older tires. Maybe a little bit of a dang still on that suspension. We saw a pretty good hit there on the outside wall and a car to the inside where they went 3 wide to 1 wide, all within one corner. 57's gotten a lot of that repair, but I think it's still hindering him. Add on 5-6 laps on the tires. Jeremy Burns will be the next in line of the fresh tires. You also have Trevor Earhart, who last time in the box only had a 4.7 pit stop, which means he took fuel only.
Fast stop.
There's 4 wide across the line. Reed,
Oh,
Harrison,
man.
Taylor. I believe that was Diaz on the bottom.
That it was, and they're still 3 wide here in 1 and 2. Bennett in the middle. They've cleared Diaz temporarily. This is all happening just outside the back half of the top 10 right now. Say about 8th on back.
Michael Reed has shown speed. I think he's going to get clear of this, but you still have Bennett, who was up there in the top 5 in stage 1. He's outside the top 10 now. He's had to race his way back up here. Some problems on pit road for a lot of these drivers. 44 seconds down the lane compared to 35, 36 for some of these cars ahead of them.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tough stop that's buried him a little further back. They're starting to work forward once again, just outside the top 10 and closing. Is just behind him. A little bit of an elevator move there from Diaz. Gonna slide side by side with Taylor, so they are just behind him, coming up to the 14 here, covering a lot of real estate. Alves and Stewart with a good battle going as well behind them. More 2 wide battling in front of them. And Auto Club, with how many lanes you can run here, no matter where you look, you're gonna find somebody side by side of this place.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with it. And watching Brandon Pamatak crack the top 10 now in the 87. Good Floyd has settled out. I think if he had held on to that lead for just one more lap, he probably would have been able to take it for the remainder of this green flag run. But Rob Rader has not escaped him. It's only 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, I think it might be one of those situations where now that he's settling back in, he's cooling off the tires a little bit, and the pace is starting to come back to him. It might be finding a little bit more speed there than when he was in that battle with Rader. About 1/3 of a second right now is the gap. We jump on board here with the 91. This is Michael Reed working the outside of Pennington right now for the 10th position. They almost ran out of room there. Pennington wanted badly to close the door there off at 2, but Reed had just enough nose there to deny it. He takes that spot away, and now he's working on Brandon Pamatat.
And they're side by side in front of him. That's Trevor Keith, who elected to stay out on the racetrack. It looks like it's paid off, recovered a lot of positions from where he started, and then some. Up 11 still from 18th spot to start this race. 15 looking pretty good. Got a top 3 last week, and man, the shock and awe on his face when he looked up at the camera and realized he was in the podium.
Yeah, we got spoiled last week. That was a crazy 3 wide finish coming to the line. On board here with the 15, currently running in the 8th spot. And he's got his hands full right now because there is a lot of cars right on his tailpipe. Harrison, Pennington, Reed, and more. More cars trying to work the outside. A lot of lane changing going on around there as well. And he's in a little bit of a hornet's nest that's developed here from about 6th back to 12th.
A7 of Pamatat going to go across the nose of the 15. That was a close one. 15 maybe gives him a piece of his own treatment there. Doesn't have the opportunity, and the send into 3 and 4. Pamatat going to pass on the outside. Harrison goes out of his way to give some draft to the 15 down the front stretch. They're now going to set him up for a pass into 1.
Yeah, a lot of fantastic battling going on here. See Harrison just get in front of the 15 there. He'll take that spot away for 10th. Reed slides by Munoz for the 7th position. So he continues his march to the front. And hey, I was keeping an eye on that timing table, and for a split second there, Dakota Floyd had got it down to a 1/10 of a second, and then something must have really went wrong. Maybe he's coming down pit road. I don't know. He's all in all at the order. I think the 57 must have pit. Yeah, there he is. He got right up there for a second with Raider, and just as he was starting to close that gap, Dakota Floyd down pit road, kicking off a green flag pit cycle potentially. We knew he was going to have to come in a few laps earlier than the rest of the field, but definitely something to keep an eye on.
I mean, that's got to be frustrating. You just got back to the leader, and now you're low on fuel. You can't make the pass. But I hate to say it, but I think Floyd maybe hit 2 or 3 laps earlier than maybe he had a choice, but if he did have 2 or 3 left in the tank, I think I would have stayed out one more. He did not have a good stop either. It is rare to see a car go a lap down here at Auto Club. He's going to lose one.
Yeah, now for Dakota Floyd, you just hope this stays green so you can get back onto the lead lap before anything goes down. He'll be on fresher tires, though. Assuming he took tires, so he will be able to start cutting through this field a little bit easier.
I think he took 2.
Well, there goes another car down pit road. I think that was Michael Reed who just made his stop. Nope, Carter Linz. Those 2 cars look a little similar from the back. Tyler Harrison also down pit road now.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this right now. Just past halfway. Linz, Harrison down pit road. Robinson, Joya stuck on the pit lane with damage. Watching Rob Raider continue to run about half a second ahead. He'll peel it down pit road.
And he's pitting from the front, so this is the leader now making his stop. Burns stayed out, though. So now these guys are going to get off cycle from each other a little bit. Trevor Earhart right there applying some pressure to the 9 as well as they make their way off of turn 2. Wonder if the Burns machine decides to pit now, keep it within 1 lap of when Raider pit. There's a lot of merit to it.
These cars might be coming down pit road together. It looks like they are.
Yeah, both of them getting on the brakes hard. Here comes Reed. Looks like Munoz caught a lot of cars, hitting their number here on lap 52. And basically the entire field has just come down pit road under green at the same time. At least 15 cars going down to their box.
Stewart, Earhart, Burns, Reed, Call, Stewart, Bennett. You also have Orlando, who slides into the inside wall and trying to get to his box. Nick Alves as well. Going to come down and get service on the 24. The 33 of Picklesheimer into his box. Yeah, probably 17 cars came down at the one time right there.
Yeah, that was pretty wild to see. It's like we were watching a super speedway pit stop. As here comes Thorpe, Forget, and more. Looks like Pamitat as well. So the field is already just about cycled through here. And I think if anything, for Dakota Floyd, that has worked out fairly well. He's not going to be too off cycle from the rest of the group here. However, what he's lacking is someone to draft with, as these cars who have merged back onto the racetrack are 4 wide going into the corner. Trevor Earhart, Jeremy Burns, and an absolute just pack of cars right now. And there is nowhere to go.
There's Burns running in 11th position after the cycle of pit road. If we can go back on a replay real quick while we have an opportunity and look at this entry out, merging onto the racetrack. Oh, right there, the 41 got checked up a little bit. There goes Harrison by on the outside. That's a cluster. I mean, I could tell you were choosing your words carefully. That was chaos.
Yeah. It could have been a lot
and caution
worse.
is out.
Oh boy,
Boyd
yeah.
takes a lead in the 77. Grant Thorpe is around on the backstretch. 55 of Justin Ritchie around as well. This happening with the merge onto the racetrack. The 77 snaps it free. Reed able to avoid it, but here comes
in the middle of it. Oh,
the whole pack.
Don't know if Ritchie was able to keep it off the wall there from that angle. And that's tough for the 77. There's a lot of front end damage there. Eager just trying to get out in front of the pack here and juiced it a little too much.
He did get into
Ritchie
the wall. Let's take it on board here with Michael Reed. And that might shake things up for the strategy. I don't know if anybody else would be willing to come down. If you're outside the top 10, I think you come in and get 4 fresh ones, maybe have a little bit of an advantage. Michael Call's going to make that call. 48 of Johnston, 31 the 3, and pretty much everybody outside the top 15 is going to decide for tires. We got some damaged cars in this group as well. Kyle Stewart with a black flag in the number 10. Not sure what that one's all about, but he is going to go to the tail end of this line. Maybe a speeding penalty. Not entirely sure, but it's Dakota Floyd back to the front here after strategy and more strategy. Kind of hit the reset button for half this field. A lot of the top 10 is pretty content with track position over fresh tires. The one thing that did do, though, Floyd had a pretty decent lead. It was about 1.5 seconds, and now it's gone. So with Grant Thorpe spinning out, that does a lot.
It does. It's a bit of a catch-22 for Dakota Floyd because he was off cycle, had to pit a few laps earlier, but did inherit that about 2 to 1.5 second lead over the rest of the field. However, where he was at on the racetrack, he did not have any draft help. And, this isn't Daytona or Talladega where, like, if you lose the draft, you're just 10 miles an hour guaranteed slower than the rest of the field. But the draft here at Auto Club is pretty impactful, especially down this back straightaway. This is a very large track, and you do gain some speed working with some other cars. And I have a feeling that even though he had that advantage, he was going to be in trouble if the rest of the pack got grouped together there. And, I mean, they clearly were moving. You saw how many cars had gotten linked up just before that caution. So I think Dakota Floyd would have been in a good spot in trying to, tick some more laps away from the lead. But when that field got there, I would be really skeptical about his ability to hold on to it at that point, just with the speed differential. So I don't know if this worked out for him or not. The other thing I think is worth noting here is that he'll be restarting to the inside and Rob Rader will be restarting to the outside. And dare I say, that's probably not where Rob Rader would like to be right now. I almost wonder if he'd rather be third than second on this restart with how good he's been on the bottom.
Well, the other factor, though, is Floyd had 5-6 lap difference on tires during that last restart and was able to maintain the lead for a lot longer than I thought he would. It was over 10 laps that he held on to it. Once the 9 and the 53 caught him, he was able to hold him off for an additional 5 laps. So that goes without saying, though. There's about a 3-lap difference now on the tires. He's in a similar scenario. He might have a better time holding up on the 53 before we hit that plateau. That's where we hit that plateau as soon as Rader got around him, and it seemed like Floyd had started to catch back up. Here we go.
Well, here we go.
Up. Big jump for the 57. And Tyler Harrison back into the top 5. He was fighting in the 11th position just a moment ago. He'll be on the outside. There's the 19 of Alex Forget. He restarted on the 3rd position. He's trying to find his line as they're 3 wide coming off of 2.
Yeah, and he is right in the middle of it here. Harrison up high, Forget in the middle. Lynn's looking to the inside here as they make their way to 3. Now Munoz going to get into the mix as well in this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Earhart going to try to play his cards right as well. I mean, there is just a lot of cars going for it right off the restart. This is the best time to make a move, as things got really squished there between Richardson and Bennett. I'm shocked neither of them ended up in the wall. They are 4 wide, going in the 1 is not going to work. Pennington sideways. Orlando goes around, hard hit for the 30. And we are under the yellow flag once again.
All the 4 wide coming across the line. Pennington dropped it down too low and turns himself across the nose.
Unreal.
Yeah, we'll take it back one more time here. Having some problems with my overlays here. Now that we got the replay dialed up, watch here, out of 4, they're 3 wide. Diaz
So
gets to the
Bennett
outside.
and Richardson, that's where I thought this was going to be. You saw how close they got. And then right here, it's 4 cars compressing into the space of 2. And the front end on that 30 car just completely caved in.
And I'm looking to see who got into the side of the 30. They're probably done for the day as well. Thought maybe somebody had made contact after that. The whole field behind able to get around, and that resets things. Didn't see a lot of takers down pit road. A few drivers did elect to come in. But already we've had some attrition. Fred Pennington out of the race. Grant Turner trying to recover his race at 4 laps down. Grant Thorpe. Justin Ritchie done for the day. Christopher Schaefer. You have the 10 of Kyle Stewart, who is going to be the, I believe, Lucky Dog recipient. Lucky Pass Note is going to go to the 39 of Turner, and Stewart will drop to the back of the field. Stewart should be the only car 1 lap down. Pennington's going to end up done for the day, so on that ticker it's Grant Turner the next in line, and then Thorpe, who's off the racetrack. Schaefer's back out here running at speed. He is 12 laps down. Daniel Holloway, and he's trying to repair some damage in the 21. You have Joe Joya out, Justice Murphy, Ben Laughter, all done for the day. Ben Laughter and Justice Murphy very early on in this race. We're talking about lap 5 that those drivers were out.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one because, you know, it's almost counterintuitive. A track this wide, you'd almost think would be easier to run green flag laps here, Bradley. But because it's so wide and people are running so many different lanes, it's tough as a driver to start calculating where everyone's going to be at once because there's so many different options, and you ultimately have a lot of blind spots here because there are most points on this racetrack you can run 3 wide. You could even maybe run 4 wide until you get to the exit of turn 4, kind of the entrance of 1. Yeah, really those 2 places where like you really kind of got to compress up a little bit. And so that has just bit a lot of drivers here tonight. You get so used to thinking like, oh, I have all this room, and then you very suddenly don't.
Matter of practice and getting used to the guys around you, and what we've been used to seeing so far. Harrison up towards the front, Rader leading some laps. We're starting to get used to Dakota Floyd leading them now. Carter Lynn's back up to the top 5. Trevor Earhart, we've seen him take a stab at the lead there. The 9 of Jeremy Burns all the way back in 10th, with Michael Reed to his inside for this restart. Burns got a little bit buried there after that pit cycle, and we haven't had enough laps for the 9 to get back up to speed and figure out a way around this top 10 to get back to the lead. Led the first 28 laps of this race. Lloyd stayed out, took the lead away. It's been back and forth between Rob Rader and Dakota Floyd, 53 and 57, back and forth. Week 6 has looked good for the 57 so far.
Yeah, it has. I mean, he's looked sharp the past few weeks. He's looked good here today. And, I mean, that being said, he's got a very uphill battle right now because I feel like that 53 car of Rob Rader has been fantastic, really, since we've seen him get into the top 5. We'll see how this goes on the restart. Pace car is going to peel off, going on the lap 63. Green flags back in the air here at Auto Club. Decent launch here for Floyd. He's going to get a little bit of separation. Going into one, Tyler Harrison looking to the inside of Rader going into the corner.
Rader has to back out of the throttle a little more than he wants to. Won't be able to get that run off the corner. Floyd with the clean air can run that bottom line. Has no one to his outside. He'll get the drive off. Lenz will gain a position up to 3rd now. Back to where he started this race. A lot of positions gained for this driver right here as well. 81. Munoz has looked bad fast here in the second half of the race.
Yeah, he really has. That car is coming to life here in the back half of this one. That 81 now up to 5th. It's the highest he's run all day. He's up 18 spots from where he started this one. And now Earhart going to launch it in there. Not going to find anything, though, that time around. Munoz holds on to the 5th spot. Earhart runs 6th as Forget trying to take that spot away. The 19 to the inside in 3.
81's going to get to the outside. A pass for the lead while we were watching behind the 81. Rob Rader takes it away from Dakota Floyd off of turn 4.
Yeah, Rader's got the advantage now. Here comes Carter Lenz to the back bumper of Dakota Floyd. Munoz up to 4th. We're looking up to the high side as Harrison slides back to the 5th spot just for the moment. As they come roaring down the back straightaway, single filing back out. Now Earhart going to apply some pressure here to the 81 in this battle for 5th.
Little draft help there, a bump draft just into the entry at 3 and 4. And sometimes the driver intends to help you get up there to the guy in front, help you make a pass, and they can follow you through. Other times it's to send you into the corner deeper than you would like to. Then you have to lift out of the throttle off the exit and they pass you anyway. Like that.
Yeah, 100% just like that. See that change of position now. Earhart running in the 5th spot. Takes that spot away from Munoz. As they go back into turn 3, the 81 going to put it back to the inside. Going to try to fight back here on the other side of the racetrack. Meanwhile, up front, speaking of fighting back, Dakota Floyd under and around Rob Rader. He's back to the point going on the lap 67. Got ourselves a fun battle going on for the lead.
Yeah, and Rader's going to take a peek again here into 1 and 2. Down the backstretch to his door. Remember, there's a 2 or 3 lap advantage here for Rader on tires.
Looks like he'll get clear there. You can see the moment at the apex of the corner where the 53 was just able to put a little more throttle on it. Clears him back to the lead here on 68. Lenz has got a rear view mirror full of Tyler Harrison right now as they make their way into 1. This is the top 4. They're all within a half second. We can add Trevor Earhart to the mix there as well, as he's just behind them as well with Jeremy Burns in tow.
For Linz right now, starting to put the pressure on the 57 of Floyd. We saw Floyd take a stab back at the lead. I don't know if Raider made a little bit of a mistake or if Floyd is in conservation mode with the tires here for these final 30 laps or so. But based off of the numbers, Floyd will have to come down to pit. He still has that advantage of being a little bit off cycle if this race goes green.
And that's going to work to him, I think, in an interesting way here. They're both in a position, I think, will they be able to get to the end of this thing? Maybe.
I think we're going to be about 4 laps short. I think you split this run in half.
Yeah, I was starting to do the math, and as I said, they could probably make it. I was realizing, I'm like, I actually don't think that's how that math is working.
Somebody might try it, but with the way these guys are going back here, I don't think we're going to get to that point to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They are duking it out here in the midfield for every position. Diaz and Picklesheim are going to lean on each other in 1 and 2. 4 wide for a moment coming off the corner. Now settling back out to 3 wide. Caleb Gilbert down at the bottom, just behind Michael Call. And Call tried to force his way in there. I don't know if there was any room. I think he almost just ran clean into Kyle Diaz there for a second. And this is a dangerous place to be right now. Not necessarily because of that, just in general. I mean, there's just a lot of cars moving all over the place right now. Take a look at this again. Michael Call just going to slide himself in there right off the nose of the 26. A little bit of contact. It was a bigger hole there than initially it looked like from that camera angle, but not by much.
Honor said clear. That's all he needed. Watching Caleb Gilbert and Kevin Orlando. This is back in the 20th position. And car sideways in the background.
Oh, Schaefer. Christopher Schaefer sideways. Looks like he got that car sorted out. A lot of damage, though, to the 23. Let's take a look at that.
I come down on the 10 car there. Kyle Stewart, he doesn't save it. Keeps it off the wall.
Take one more look at it here. And yeah, just right into turn 3, nowhere to go, and both of them go around. Schaefer hard into the wall. Stewart spins it out, but I think kept it clean. It's been a little bit of a surprise, I think, at least for me personally. I'm not sure about you, Bradley, but for me tonight, I don't think I was anticipating this to be as choppy of a race as it has been with the yellows. I thought we were going to see a lot more green flag runs with the amount of space out there, but you know, maybe this is not a track that these guys have put as much time into just because it's no longer an active track on the old NASCAR calendar.
I think a lot of it, too, you were mentioning earlier with the multiple grooves and a lot of people having an opportunity at a run because we've seen it. We've seen 3 and 4 wide multiple times here tonight. Those are the situations. The guys trying to get every inch because they know they can get that run. It's the next corner. They're always thinking, what can I do in the next exit of this corner? Instead of, what can I do to prevent myself from ending up in the wall? That's what they need to be worried about.
Yeah, and the self-preservation has not been as important here tonight, but a big stop here for these teams. They'll be just outside their fuel window, I believe, but if there is a couple more cautions, you never know. You might just trickle right back into it. And with the way this race has gone, I think that's a very fair bet to make. Very quick stop there for, I want to say that was Trevor Earhart, who's going to follow Dakota Floyd off. And Earhart and Burns were side by side for second off of pit road. Rob Rader going to fall back to 4th here.
The 2 tire calls for the top 3, and Rob Rader on 4 fresh ones for this next restart. We're going to take another break here on Vspeed. We haven't had an opportunity, so when we come back, we're going to go maxed out. So go ahead and find that remote control, and we'll get you more action here for the Chapman Cup Series at Auto Club. More coverage of the BK Designs 200 right after this.
Real quick, real quick, number 10. front all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus, it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Welcome back here to Auto Club as the pace car will pull off. And the race recap at the top of your screen. Jeremy Burns winning stage number 1. 8 cautions, 9 lead changes, and we're 3/4 of the way through this race at this 2-mile oval. A lot of side-by-side there.
Yeah, I mean, they're 3 wide here for third. Linz was running out of room. He's actually walking up the track. Holds on to it for now, but man, they are really not cutting each other any breaks out there with 25 to go next time around. 4 wide further back. Daniel Holloway all the way down to the inside on Munoz. Picklesheimer there. That's such an aesthetically pleasing 4 wide. Green, yellow, red, and blue all battling it out coming off the corner.
Yeah, I don't think they feel the same way.
No, I'm sure they'd rather be doing anything else right now than what they're actually doing.
We do this because it's fun, but sometimes it can get frustrating. And if you are Carter Linz, you're probably getting a little frustrated being pinned down there on the inside. Restarted on the 2nd row, has fallen back to almost the 4th row.
Yeah, battling here with Michael Call. This is for the 6th position on the racetrack. Meanwhile, up front a little further, Earhart and Rader side by side for 3rd. The 41 to the outside there. Got a great run off of turn 4. He'll move up to 3rd, and he is right to the back bumper of Jeremy Burns now, giving the Metroplex machine a little bit of a push in the 1. 41, a ball of fire here on this restart.
Absolutely is. Carter Linz going to lose another spot. No, he's going to get to the inside. A call. Reed into the outside wall in the 91. He'll lose a spot.
Yeah, not only is it getting hectic, it's getting physical out here. Not that it hasn't really already today, but, you know, there's just been a lot of take, not a whole lot of give. And that's only going to ramp up as we get closer to the end of this race. Rader clips the wall a little bit off of 4. That's going to let Harrison get right to his back bumper going down the front straightaway. Call and Pamitat getting into it a little bit further on back. Big block from the 41 up high. I mean, there is just action all over the place right now in the top 10.
Pretty safe to say there's about 20 laps to go in this one. The intensity picking up a little bit more. Contact with the 41 and the 53. Rader got as close as he could without turning the 41 of Earhart. That was a very close call for 4.
Yeah, it was, and now he's going right back on the attack here, looking to the outside of Harrison. 45 going to slide up in front of him, though. Hold on to this spot for now. They are single filed out, but I wouldn't say it's calm by any means, as the 53 was shoving them down the backstretch. Here's Johnston and Alves, a battle just outside the top 10 as they run. Battle for 12th on the racetrack right now as they're side by side and trying to find who's going to be moving forward out of this. Looks like it's Johnston for the moment, the 48 up to 12th, looking for more.
Another battle for position, 16th up for grabs. Michael Bennett, who we saw up in the top 10 earlier in this race, back in 16th, the 8 of Richardson. We also saw Trevor Keith up there for a moment. It looks like the 14 going to get the best of the 8, the 15 on the outside. Now they're going to go back to it. And it looks like Richardson going to get that again.
Yeah, on board here with the 8 of Richardson, working the outside of Bennett. We jump on board here, trying to get to Trevor Keith. Battling in the middle of this field right now, running 16th, looking for more as he gives the 15 a little bump here. Going in the 1, really drives it in there on the outside lane. Going to be able to carry a lot of speed off this corner. Trevor Keith, though, did a really nice job running the bottom, got a lot of that track position back. So even though Richardson's reeling them in here, there was just a lot of asphalt to make up. It's a fascinating battle watching these guys go across these multiple lanes. You see some folks who really just enjoy one side or the other, and then some folks who are just picking whatever lane looks the most vacant.
Watch this coming out of 4. This is a slide job. Didn't work. It did, but it didn't.
Yeah, it got a little dicey for sure, but looks like they were able to sort it out in the end.
Richardson going to get into the back of Kevin Orlando there in the entry of the corner, and it's spicing back up here in the top 10.
Oh, you bet it is. Look at this, side by side, multiple places here. Taking a look here, that's Forget and Diaz in the battle for 9th. Linz and Reed in a good battle for 6th at the moment as well, as these laps are really starting to tick away here. And Dakota Floyd, Jeremy Burns, they've got themselves a nice little battle happening up at the front of the field as well. This is the battle for the race lead. That gap is shrinking pretty drastically, and Rob Rader starting to cut into that time as well.
Not here a clutch pedal.
Yeah, I think they're starting to realize that if this thing stays green, they would not have enough fuel, I don't believe, to make it to the end of this thing.
Boyd, well, he's been out front for so long. These guys been drafting behind him.
Yeah, and that's the tough part with, if you can't treat this the way you would a super speedway. Be like, all right, I'm going to let this guy go, and I'm going to draft off of him. Because you've got Burns and Rader who have worked so well together historically. Now Floyd settles into 2nd here. We'll see if that works, and we'll see if he's able to save any bit of fuel. But sometimes when those teammates get linked up, it gets really hard to work off them because they'll help each other. And not too kind, maybe, to the rest of the field. And this is going to be an interesting one if this stays green to the end, as Picklesheimer almost got right up into the clear panel there on the 81.
On board with Dylan Picklesheimer. He's actually going to get past there by the 10. Who is a lap down. Kyle Stewart goes by on the outside. Watching the 33 all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to clear the 10.
Yeah, definitely been an up and down day for Picklesheimer. Running that 19th spot. We've seen him get up to the top 10 at points tonight, though. As him and Stewart get together a little bit there, they're able to keep it off the wall, but sure, that's going to be interesting to see how they resolve that if they get linked up again later on in this one.
And Dakota Floyd has fallen back to the 6th position. Looks like he's having to use so much of the clutch pedal now to save fuel that he's losing spots. I don't know if anybody else here in the top 10 knows that they can or can't make it, but Floyd definitely cannot right now.
Yeah, he's trying to do all that he can, but I think at this point he's just trying to keep himself in position to hope for something to fall his way. Is now someone coming down pit road. That's Burns who's going to come down pit road here on lap 86. The leader has come down pit road, and he's the one to kick off the pit cycle.
Watch this pit entry. It almost went wrong.
Yeah, he's got Rob Rader here sort of closing on him in a hurry. 9 got a little bit sideways. Just a touch, though. Got it anchored down, though, good enough. So now Rader's got the lead, and we'll see if he makes a stop here or he's going to try to run it out further.
Looks like he's going to go another lap. 66 of Carter Lenz down to pit. Anderson as well. Yeah, so number of cars here pitting on lap 88. So the final green flag pit cycle is underway. Got to imagine there's going to be at least a couple cars, I think, who are going to try to run the fuel tank dry. With the amount of cautions we've had tonight, maybe they're going to gamble on one more happening and trying to cycle out to the front of this pack. But it's the danger, because if you wait too long and this thing does stay green, you are going to really cut yourself off at the knees at getting a good finish here. Yeah, it's almost 10 to go. If you're Raider, you either A, know you can make it to the end, or B, you're hoping for a caution for every lap you stay out here. Earhart down pit road as well. And the 57 of Dakota Floyd, who was playing that clutch pedal earlier in this race, has fallen all the way back to 10. He's got his hands full.
Boy, does he. Yeah, there is a lot of cars there. That's a mix of people cycling back into the field, people who are really working the clutch, people who are just letting it rip right now. It's a dangerous place to be when you start getting so many different variable speeds in the field all in the same place. As you see Stewart here trying to make a move on Trevor Keith just in front of him. 3 wide, Floyd in the middle, as he will basically fall out of the top 10 here if he falls any further back. Next time by, it'll be 10 laps to go. Rader still has the lead, still has yet to come down pit road. And he's not the only one. There's quite a few folks who are just letting this thing run. I would say probably about a third of the field to this point has made a stop.
Yeah, Raider, Diaz, Alves, Berube, Richardson, Munoz, and Bennett side by side there in the 1481. Parker Johnston coming to Orlando, Dakota Floyd, Caleb Gilbert way far back here, 13 seconds back. You have Matt Robinson on the clutch pedal. These guys really in the super save mode, and then it's Sam Taylor in the 3 at the tail end of this one.
You see Sam Taylor on board here, doing a little bit of a battle here with Matt Robinson. They'll be side by side in the turn 1, but not much of a battle between the two. Is Taylor going to roll on by? He'll take that 12th position over tentatively on the racetrack. 10 laps to go. Rob Rader's got a healthy lead, but the question is not whether or not he has the speed. It's whether or not he's got the fuel to make it to the end. As you see Carter Lenz going to unlap himself there.
Anderson on the way to do that as well. If you're Raider, you're going to stay behind Diaz as long as you can in the 53.
Oh, there's a caution. Picklesheimer around on the back straightaway. That has fallen directly into the hands of those who went long on this. Rob Rader, Kyle Diaz, Nick Alves, all of these guys, this has just fallen into their lap here with less than 10 to go.
I don't think I have to say anything with this one.
I mean, yeah, you take a look at the replay here, and there's 2 cars working out of the corner. I think Stewart was just expecting Picklesheimer to work his way further up the racetrack. The 33 did not, and the 10 worked right up into the side of him, and around they both go. Now, it's been a wild one here in California, and it's only going to get crazier. We're setting up for another short run to the finish here. Not going to be a green-white checkered yet, but when this thing gets green again, won't be longer than probably about 4 laps or so.
We have CJ Danford. Welcome to Vspeed Fast Pass. A gifted membership to Jeremiah Mullins. 2 from Danford. We appreciate you. Welcome in. Enjoy those emotes and enjoy that Fast Pass. We're working on the structure here for Fast Pass members. Had a talk with Adam Baker and our fearless leader. We're going to get this Fast Pass worked up, and for every month that goes by, it's going to work towards a free t-shirt. We'll get the metrics on that and probably do an announcement officially very, very soon. But watching this here, Dakota Floyd has stayed out. 21 laps on the stint. I don't think this is going to work for him. Jeremy Burns, 7 laps on the stint. Don't think this is going to pan out the way that you want it to, but maybe he gets a good enough launch. But I think 15 laps on the tires, I don't think it's going to work. 14, 15 laps, that's just not enough, or that's too much there. I could see maybe 5. I don't think it's going to pan out.
Yeah, it's definitely it's going to be a Herculean task. It's not going to be a whole lot of time to really make anything happen. But you never know. We've seen some crazy stuff. I mean, we've seen Jeremy Burns win that race at Martinsville or New Hampshire a couple years ago, coming back from 4 laps down to win the thing. I mean, we have seen some truly insane stuff, but there is simply just not a lot of time left here for anything too drastic to occur. Be very curious to see what's going to happen on this restart. I mean, there is a whole host of questions. It really is just going to depend on who gets a good launch here. I think that's really going to settle it. Clean air has been really, really strong for the leaders here tonight. And if you get that clean air, I think you are in prime shape to make something happen. So a couple of cars taking the wave around here. Going to put Dakota Floyd up in the front with Jeremy Burns, Trevor Earhart, Carter Lins, Ryan Munoz, Rob Rader. Here are your top 6. I think Rader's going to be on the freshest stuff of anybody.
It all comes down to this. Just before we would hit overtime, we will have 4 laps to go. 5 laps to go, actually, when we go green. Again, want to double down. I don't like the situation that Floyd is in. If this was a green-white checkered, then maybe. Best case scenario, the 41 of Earhart can get to the inside of Burns. They race side by side into 1, maybe holds him up enough. But if Burns matches this restart with the 57, it could be all over.
It's going to be, hey, we got a crazy finish last week. We might get another one right here tonight. The recipe is in place here to potentially get a wild one when this thing goes green. Because they'll be taking the green on lap 96. There's going to be 5 laps here to close this one out as the pace car peels off.
What could be the final time today for the pace car to pull out of line. Dakota Floyd on the loud pedal into turn 1. A decent jump by about a car length, but will it be enough? 41 gets to the inside of the 9, and here comes Rob Rader on 4 fresh ones to the outside. Floyd has to hold on for 5 more laps.
Yeah, easier said than done. Settling into the lead right now, side by side, Earhart and Burns for second down the back straightaway. They've got a mirror full of Rob Rader trying to work his way in there as well. He's in the middle of 3 wide with Lins up high in 3 and 4 here.
Giving some dirty air to the front end of that 9 car. 57 knew what he needed to do there on the exit of turn 4. That'll push the 9 back there. Contact with the 41. Contact with the 53.
Rader's around.
Rader into the outside wall, and the yellow's out. We're going to overtime.
He collects Alves. He collects Nelson. Looks like Munoz around as well. Oh, man, that is a heartbreaker there for Rob Rader. He had been so fast tonight, and he is not going to get a result to go with it. All happened right here. They were battling hard off of turn 4. I believe it was him and Carter Linz who were really duking it out. Or maybe it was him and Earhart.
Earhart comes down to try to pull some side draft, and then the second time he tries to pull it, he thinks he's clear. I think comes down too far.
Well, I think it was he went down a second time the side draft right as Raider tried getting up off the apron to get back onto the racing surface to prep for turn 1. And those two moves happened, I'm pretty sure, at the exact same moment in time. And that is a heartbreaker there for the 53. Same with Nick Alves.
Spot.
Oh, and Michael Reed got caught in the bottom of that. I don't know if you saw that. He got collected there with Alves at the bottom of the racetrack. Yeah, kind of got sent there unwillingly after the contact with Nelson right into Alves, and some heavy damage there for the 91 as well. The 81, 24, 53, all involved in this one. Pamitat in the 87 as well. So now it'll be a green-white checkered.
I feel better for Dakota Floyd now, but I don't feel good for Rob Raider. I don't feel good for Pamitat, the 91 to Reed, everyone involved in that. That was a situation that, yes, we're racing to the checkered flag, but I think that just a little more room there. There's no one to the outside of the 41. I don't know if he came down or if Raider came up or maybe a combination of both, but you know, I see no advantage there to pinching after you get past that side draft. There's really nothing that you're going to do, and you have to set up for the corner. So, I mean, that would have been a really shallow entry for both of them. Now we've got a lot of torn up race cars, so that's unfortunate. You know, we could have ran this thing out to the end.
Yeah, certainly could have. It's going to definitely jumble up the way this one's going to go. But much like last week, we will have a green-white checkered to end this. As always, in case this is the first time you've had a chance to join us, green-white checkered essentially means they will take the green flag and there will be 2 laps to go. If they have a caution before they take the white flag, before they take the final lap, they'll re-rack it and try it one more time. If they do take the white flag, signifying 1 to go, the next flag, checkered or caution, will end the race.
How many of these do you think we're going to use?
With the way tonight's going, I'll be honest, I would be shocked if we didn't use both. That's no indictment on anyone in particular. That is just the way the racing has been going tonight. It has been rather aggressive, and these moves happen so fast here. It wouldn't shock me at all if we have to use the second one as well.
Ruth Ann, I'm sorry. I know you've been tuning in here consistently for at least 3 seasons. I've seen your name up here in the chat. It's not my goal to make you swear, I promise. It's not my goal to make anyone lose their mind in the chat, but if you do want to tell a driver how you feel in the chat, I'm completely open to that. There is a live chat replay. When they go back and watch this, maybe they'll get to your message.
Well, at the end of the day, we do not control what happens on the racetrack. We simply talk about what we see up here going happening on the racetrack. And right now it is Floyd and Burns, your front row. It'll be Earhart and Diaz, row 2, Linz and Forget, Bennett and Johnston, Richardson, Orlando, your top 10. Tell you what, someone who I'm really keeping an eye on here on this restart, Alex Forget. He has had a crazy up and down day, and yet he finds himself in position to really make something happen here in the closing laps. This is, I think, as high as we've seen him all evening long.
Yeah, he's in a great spot to get a top 5. I don't think he has the speed to go up here and snag this win away, but anything can happen. It is Auto Club, and mistakes have been made already. No reason that we couldn't see the leaders get together.
Well, it's all going to come down to this. It'll be a 2-lap shootout. And if something happens before the first lap's over, There'll be one more 2-lap shootout. But hopefully we'll get this one finished up here as close to regulation as possible. Pace car peels away for maybe the final time.
Into the restart zone with Dakota Floyd. He got a decent jump last time. Will he get another one? Green flag is out. It's not as good of a jump this time, but he will have about half a car length going into one.
He's got a tentative advantage here over the 9. We'll see how that maintains through 1 and 2. Lins to the inside of Earhart. It's 3 wide with Diaz at the bottom. Then 3 wide again just behind them. And the yellow is already out at the further back part of the field. Although, admittedly, I'm not sure who for.
I'm not sure either. I can tell you who waved it. I don't know what the reason was.
Is it something further back?
I have nothing. I have no reason.
Oh,
for
there it
this
is.
caution.
Munoz
Okay.
is sideways. There it was.
All right.
Him and Sam Taylor got together. That is, admittedly, though, I mean, I understand iRacing, you know, we have no control over what they deem a caution or not, but with some of the incidents we've seen here today, and this being the green-white checkered, ultimately, I actually think that they probably could have let that keep going because the 81 was able to keep that car pointed. And with it being the virtual racing world, we don't have to worry about any of the driver's safety. Everyone nice and home and comfortable, hopefully. So, tough one. But yeah, Sam Taylor, Ryan Munoz get together, and I'll be honest, I'm not
Sam-
entirely I'm not sure
Sam
what
has
we
damage
were.
there.
Yeah, that car just did not grab the bottom of the racetrack like he was hoping it would, I think.
Yeah, right front completely toast on that. It looks like he's turning right, but he is absolutely putting wheel into this car, and it just does not want a corner. But you gotta try it again, Dakota. I mean, one more yellow, and it's over.
Yeah, and tell you what, it's working out for him. That's for sure.
Got a decent jump that last time, but I think that yellow bailed him out. I think the 9 sets him up into 3, and he's going to have to get a bigger jump than that. And he also would probably appreciate if Trevor Earhart got going a little better this time and got side by side with the 9.
Yeah, I would suspect so as well.
Just needs to hold on until they see that next yellow or the checkered flag. That's what it's come down to here.
I don't know. The leaders had such a good opportunity on these restarts tonight to get out by about a 2-car length gap going into 1. And normally, by the time you get down the backstretch into 3, that gap comes down to about a car length, maybe a half. Simply, though, you're just not going to have enough time if you let them get a couple car length advantage here. If you are, say, you know, Jeremy Burns, Trevor Earhart, Kyle Diaz, one of these guys chasing Dakota Floyd right now, you simply got to go out there and keep them in reach on that opening lap. You got to hope that there's not a caution so you can run the second lap here, the 2-lap shootout, and then on that second lap, you just got to launch it in there and hope it sticks.
It's been a lot of work to maintain this lead all day. You send it down into the corner and you have anybody to your outside, it doesn't work. I mean, being on the bottom just hasn't been effective. So watching this restart with any one of these cars that are on this inside row, they have someone to their outside. They're not going to get the drive off, and we might see contact again. Going to allow, probably the outside row has the advantage here on this next restart, but I think it allows Burns to set himself up pretty well.
There's so many questions that goes through the mind of a driver at this point in time, but ultimately you just got to block it all out and just know that, you know, this is the time to run the best 2 laps that you've run all day, or at least you hope you have the opportunity to run both laps and go and grab what you can. For Dakota Floyd, I feel like he's been constantly fighting an uphill battle today of being just behind on the strategy and making it work, and
well, they keep flipping the rules on him.
yeah, they do. He has an opportunity here to get his second win in about 3 or 4 weeks. If he can hold on here, or is Jeremy Burns going to get another win on the season? Here we go into the restart zone. Green flags in the air for the last time here tonight.
Burns matched him really good there. Floyd misses
he
his
did.
shift.
Well, this is going to get dicey because it's going to open up the door for 3rd and 4th to get in there as well. Everyone goes around on the outside. 4 wide for the lead coming off of turn 2.
Floyd has to hold it down there. I don't think he has the speed or the fuel to make it to the end.
No, he doesn't. He's falling back like a rock right now. Burns, Diaz, Lins. That's where the battle's at up front here, coming to the white flag. Burns has got it. Does Diaz or Lins have something for him?
One more time around, presented by Earhart Homes. Love where you live. I don't know what to say other than it's going to be all up to Burns here to hold on to the lead. And I'm surprised that Floyd didn't have enough fuel there to hold him off. But that is not how we expected this one to end. Jeremy Burns going to find his way to victory lane for the second time this season. Week number 6, off of turn 4 for the final time. Checkered flag in the air, and Jeremy Burns, your stage winner and race winner. 31 laps led to bring it home.
Gets the job done here. What a win for Jeremy Burns. Held on to it when it mattered most. Fantastic stuff.
The fireworks go off here at Auto Club. We got to take it back on a replay and look at that final set of laps. If we can go back a little bit further here. That's the white flag. So here's the restart. Now, I noticed that Floyd did not get going. So I wonder if this car sputters on the start.
Yeah, I mean, the car really just didn't quite get going the way he was hoping it was going to. And then as everyone starts wheeling by him on the outside, I mean, it just, everything falls apart in about a set of corners there for Floyd. Did a nice job getting out of the way, though, which was, you know, because if he just tried staying on the throttle and didn't get down onto the apron, I mean, he would have been, A, run over, but B, that would have really stacked up the field pretty bad.
And he ends up not finishing this race. There's the checkered flag coming out. Kyle Diaz ends up with a top 3 in this. Gained 15 spots to run this thing out, but he had a chance. He had a real chance there to take the lead. Then it's 4 wide back here with Forget, Johnston, Harrison there on the outside. There's contact with the outside wall. I think Harrison maybe got used up there on the exit of 2. Not very happy with that. He might have came up here to the top 5. He'll end up in 6 to finish this thing out. But what a crazy turn of events there for the finish of this one.
I mean, truly just one of those deals where, especially because they had all come down pit road again, I thought he was going to have enough, but I was mistaken.
Well, we have the opportunity here. We're going to pull up your race winner. It's the 9. We can find Jeremy Burns. Doesn't appear that he's might have moved a channel already. Still hunting for him.
Yeah, he's
Where is
he's
he?
down in the waiting room here. So let's pull him up.
All right, there's Jeremy Burns, victory lane here for the number 9. I gotta say though, it was one of those races that we knew that 57 was on older tires. We figured you could get around him if we stayed green, but we didn't expect him to run out of fuel. And then you just set sail there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's great when it comes to you like that. I knew that if I was ahead of the strategy there and just went ahead and bit the bullet and came down pit road, that I was going to be in a good spot because you don't go a lap down. So if the caution comes out, it's kind of like, in road course racing where if the caution comes out, you cycle to the front. So it was just a really good call there. I know Trevor came down there with me, got a solid finish, but I was hoping that I was going to get it all the way there. And I wish that I was going to be able to pass Dakota there and fight it out like that, but I'll never complain when you're sitting in victory lane.
So we run this race all the way through. You struggled a little bit at times. You got outside the top 5 and got jumbled back in traffic during those final segments and played the strategy right. Came in, and it looks like just in the box to top off of fuel for 5 seconds. That was enough to take you to the end of this thing. How do you feel confident about that strategy when you're in that situation compared to now that it worked?
Well, you compare the pros and the cons, and there were more pros with that strategy than any of the other ones. I knew that if we just sat there and ran that pack like that, that I was still going to be short. So just staying out on track wasn't going to be the answer to that. So at the other end of that, you have to come in and pit. And really, even if we went green there without any cautions, we would have been in a really good spot. A lot of people would have still had to come down, and we would have also been in a position where, it's the undercut because we pit so early. But on the other end, the caution comes out, everybody comes in pit. So it was really a win-win situation. So just talking it out with my guys, love having the open communication there, and everybody was really helpful with that tonight. And, going into it, we were very confident in it.
One final question here. I know you got a long list of people that support this 9 car in victory lane. Second win of the season here. Anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out my mom and dad. Shout out the newly made fiance, Josie. Shout out Coach P, Sonny, my grandma, Miss Betsy. Shout out Rowan. They're out there watching tonight. Lindsay and Aaron. Really cool to have them on board. Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shan, Belinda, Betty, Colleen, Tommy, Chrissy, Dana, and Dylan. Rolling Thunder, Lightning Fast, Metroplex, of course, for being on the hood. Huge shout out to them. Huge shout out to Chapman Environmental and all the other sponsors here tonight. You guys up here at Vspeed, y'all do a phenomenal job. And shout out to BK Designs, new sponsor in the lead tonight, so really cool to have them here. Really hope that I put on a pretty good show there, especially there towards the end. And shout out the admins, all the drivers, and shout out everybody that was helping me tonight.
Jeremy Burns, second win on the season. It comes here at Auto Club. We'll see you in 1 week's time when we go back racing here in Chapman Cup Series.
Thank you, guys.
Post-race interviews with your top 3 and those final race results in just a moment's time. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series from Auto Club. More coverage will continue right after this.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus, it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Welcome back here to our coverage. Post-race Auto Club and the BK Designs 200. Final race results coming up on your screen. After 11 cautions and 13 lead changes, Jeremy Burns, your Stage 1 winner, ends up being your race winner after Dakota Floyd runs out of fuel to finish this thing out. The top three on your screen with Kyle Diaz and Carter Lenz on the podium. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment, but Alex Forget Berube will finish in the 4th spot with Trevor Earhart in the top 5. Tyler Harrison runs back to the 6th position, so keeping the streak alive at 2-mile racetracks. The top 10 for the 45. Parker Johnson will finish in the 7th spot in the number 48 with Caleb Gilbert getting a top 10 in 8th. Brendan Richardson starting in 9th, finishes in 9th. And Brandon Pamitat in the 87, up and down day for that car. He'll get a top 10 to finish out the day.
Looking back to 11th here, it'll be Matt Robinson in that 11 machine. Grant Turner finishing 12th. Trevor Keith will be 13th, just ahead of Kevin Orlando Jr., with Michael Bennett finishing 15th here tonight. Nick Alves, 16th, just ahead of Ryan Munoz in the 17th position. Dakota Floyd will run out of fuel and be credited as, I believe, not the last car on the lead lap. But I don't think he actually is on the lead. He might be the first car one lap down. Regardless, he finishes 18th here tonight. Dylan Picklesheimer finishes 19th. Sam Taylor, 5 laps down, rounds out the top 20.
Going back to the 21st position. Sorry about that. Kyle Stewart will finish in 21st spot in the number 10. Jeremiah Nelson finishing 22nd. Rob Rader, who got heavily damaged there in the final laps of this race, finishes 23rd. Michael Reed also collected in that, finishing 24th. Michael Call in the 5 got a piece of that. Daniel Holloway damaged. Christopher Schaefer never could recover his race after getting damaged. Will finish 13 laps down in 27th. You have Fred Pennington, who took a stab at the lead, was running in 2nd spot, ends up 28th. It'll be 48 laps down. Grant Thorpe, 29th here today. Justin Ritchie for 30th spot. And 4 more cars to talk about. Very early exit for Joe Joya, and an even earlier exit for Justice Murphy, Ben Laughter, and Al Likens electing not to grid 109 laps down here this evening. So now it's time to bring up the rest of your top 3. The next driver we're going to talk to is your 2nd place finisher. It's Kyle Diaz in the number 26, and we have to go all the way back to Watkins Glen of last season before we talk to Kyle Diaz again. Kyle, how are you feeling here tonight?
I'm pretty happy, but, you know, it kind of stings coming up one spot short at your home racetrack, but still proud for the effort that we put in today, you know, after everything that went on.
Kyle, we go through this race, the progression, the strategy, we keep flipping what is going to make it to the end, and ultimately it bit some drivers. We ran out of fuel there with the lead, and were you in that situation? You stayed out. Were you going to make it to the end, and had it stayed green, do you think you would have been okay?
Oh, no, we still had a pit right there. I'm pretty sure me and the 53 of Rob Rader, we were just trying to stretch it out as long as we could, and fortunately, the caution kind of came out to our benefit, because I think those guys that undercut us, they would have probably been in the position to beat us out there. So it was kind of a lucky break.
Well, and I got another question for you. This is the final one before we thank everybody. But Kyle, this 26 car, it looks fast and it has glimpses of speed at tracks that you don't expect it. Have you circled any racetrack coming up on the schedule where you know there's a potential to put this car in victory lane?
Any of the mile and a half racetracks, those are like my bread and butter. And as you see at the road courses, I can put up a good run. So hopefully at the upcoming road courses, I can maybe put Jeremy Burns up for a run for his money. So we'll see how it all works out. But just glad about the finish that I have here tonight after everything that went on. I spun out twice. So also want to mention sorry to the 64 for the early race contact and anybody else who may have been involved with that. So that always sucks, but just proud of my performance here tonight.
Kyle Diaz, anybody you have in mind to thank here before we let you go?
Oh yeah, of course. I want to thank my dad for watching. Shout out to him. He always watches the races here on Wednesday, so that means a lot. And my team, of course, at Power Shift, Brandon Richardson, John Fike, and Braden. We always try to put in our best effort, and of course, Travis. He was my crew chief tonight, so he kind of put me in a position to get back in the race. So shout out to them as always.
Kyle Diaz, second place here at Auto Club. We'll see you in 1 week's time when we go to Dover.
All right, thank you guys.
And finally, we move on to our third place finisher. It's going to be Carter Lenz in the number 66, finally putting it all together. And I believe Alex Gagnon has caught up with your third place driver.
Hey there, Carter. This is Alex from Bradley. Got a copy? Sounds like it.
Yep, right here.
I tell you what, it says you started third. You ultimately finished third, but that was not really a good snapshot of the day you had. I mean, you were up battling for, the lead at points up there in second, as far back as almost outside of the top 10. Kind of shuffled around the pit strategy there a little bit. Talk to us a little bit about your day, because it felt like you were really strong early. We kind of lost you a little bit there in the middle, and then you were popping up right back there at the end.
It is, to be honest, overall, this whole night, it was just chaos. I mean, it was just caution after caution. You had no idea what was going to happen after each restart. And ultimately, just trying to hold on to track position. That was the real key, even though obviously the front car had the biggest advantage. As we saw Dakota, I was talking to him before I got dragged in here, and he was saying he was not even really taking any left side tires. It was just clean air advantage, and just trying to manage that. But it felt like 1 and 2 early on in the race, those two could just run off, and then I was stuck in a rat's nest behind me. And if I had one bad run from the dirty air off those two going too wide, whoever's in front, 4 cars pass you, and then you gotta dig yourself out of a grave right there. And it just kept happening over and over and over tonight. And made some risky calls, I felt like, coming down pit road, but in the end, if it all went green, I think it would have worked out for us, me, Tyler, and TK, to possibly make all podiums or at least top 5s. But no, it just kind of turned into a hectic night, and it was just trying to salvage, make the best of it, really.
You certainly were able to, and I feel like that's been a theme for you this year. We've seen you have so much speed week in, week out, just trying to close it off. I know it's easier said than done, but definitely it feels like it's coming with the amount of speed that you've had in that 66 machine. But either way, congrats on the podium tonight, Carter. Fantastic drive from you. And anyone you'd like to shout out here on the podium finish?
Shout out First in the League, first and foremost. They put on great series here. Good group of guys here. See Vspeed, you guys here up in the booth every week. Top-notch broadcast. You guys are always fun to talk to up here. Lindsay and Air Conditioning, Ream, All About Bugs, Earhart Homes, all the sponsors of the league, everyone who's all a part of it, all the friends and family that watch. My girlfriend Sarah, I have to make that very clear. She's watching every week, so no, it's just fun being here every week. So it's a pleasure to be up here again.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a pleasure to talk to you as always, Carter. Congrats on the run, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you in a week's time here.
Yep, hopefully get to see you guys soon again.
All righty, Carter, congrats, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is your third place finisher here tonight. Carter Linz in the 66 machine continues to put together a very strong start here to season 6.
There you have it for your top 3. And man, again, I'm going to double down on what I said in the pre-race. This racetrack does put on a great show. There was a lot of multi-groove racing, a lot of different lanes to run, and a lot of passes, 3 and 4 wide. I don't see why anybody would want to dismantle a thing like that, but, you know, we didn't touch on it the first beginning of the race. There's probably a lot of factors. I'm going to go with maybe the state that the track is located in. Maybe that's part of it.
Well, real estate ain't cheap out there, that's for sure.
No, it is not.
But either way, that is, you know, a mystery for another day.
You can't print more land, Alex. You can't print more land.
As much as people would like to try to.
Well, that's going to do it for us here in the coverage. Coming up in 1 week's time, though, we have Dover on the other side of America. Catch that here live on Vspeed at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, April 8th. Flag-to-flag coverage all season long in the Chapman Cup Series. Hope you enjoyed tonight's action. If you did, hit the subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. And we curate and format these shows for your viewing pleasure. We go live on days that end with Y. You can tune in all the way through the week. Give us a like, give us a follow. Share these broadcasts. It helps us out tremendously, and it will help your drivers personally to get notoriety, get their names out there, and ultimately help grow the Chapman Cup Series. But that's going to do it for us. For Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, my co-host Alex Gagnon for helping me up here in the broadcast booth, doing a fantastic job. And all 4 seasons we've been covering here. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Auto Club Speedway. We'll see you again in 7 days' time. It's been another fantastic show. Stay tracking, everybody.